Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Reimagine with Renata. If you are new here, my name is Renata Del Carmen. I am a mom, an author, an entrepreneur, and I support others in reimagining life and style. By the end of this episode, I expect that you would share, and tell others about what you've heard, what you've seen, and also just subscribe to my channel because that way you'll always know when there's a new episode. We love reimagining life together, and we have some reinventing to do. What does that look like? 2024 is approaching. I know it's November and we're giving thanks and then we're spreading the holiday cheer, but we want to think about what life looks like for us in the first quarter of 2024. And so today I'm joined by one of my good friends, Brianna. Brianna is a resume writing expert who focuses on educators looking to transition their careers. Brianna's expertise lies in helping educated professionals showcase their transferable skills and land exciting opportunities outside of the classroom. So, everyone, welcome Brianna. Hi, Bree.
Hey, I don't even know. Listen, I feel like
You
Beyonce.
cute.
I feel like Beyonce. I'm an
I
expert.
love this red lip.
I wear it when I'm feeling sassy.
And this is the perfect time to be sassy. We need all of the realness that you are going to bring to the table today because
Listen, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
I don't know if the people know. I don't know if they're ready, but I would love for you first before we jump in because we could be here talking for hours. We are real friends, y'all.
In
So
real life.
in real life. So this could easily go left or right or up and down, depending on where the conversation goes. But Bree, I want to give you an opportunity to tell everyone about yourself, who you are, what you do, and share more about your profession.
Of course, of course, of course. I am Brianna. Let me see. I am a Sagittarius. I am a child of the Most High God.
Okay.
Hallelujah. Okay.
Amen.
I pray multiple times a day. The Bible says prayer without ceasing. Um, I am a resume writer. I like to call myself a resume curator. I just think it sounds a little bit more sophisticated. I am
That's
also
very Sagittarius.
yes. I am an educator. I am no longer in the classroom. I actually am in school leadership. And so I coach teachers and leaders on all things English instruction. And so I'm really just out here trying to make sure that if, in my true heart of hearts, that Black and brown children, the way literacy is looking in our communities, it can't continue like that. And so that's what I do. I wake up every morning and I do what the Lord allows me to do for the day.
Right. I love that because there are a lot of people who would say yes, amen to everything you just said, but it looks very different when you're in the classroom and you're teaching your children. So, um, I guess we can start by let's just jump right in. We're here. I guess you yourself said that you are no longer in the classroom. And what does that look like? I think that transition is different for everyone for different reasons. For some it's like work-life balance, for some it's just wanting a new career path. But what was that transition like for you?
I will say that in the midst of the transition, it was tough. Because I knew that like I was done with the classroom and it wasn't for me anymore. So I left without having a job lined up. And after, ma'am,
Now,
I be praying. I just be waiting for the Lord to deliver a solution because I just be going.
disclaimer, let me just put this out there. We are not advising you all to just
quit your
quit
job.
and leave the children high and dry. That's not what we're doing. That's not what she did.
No, I stayed the full year. I ended the year with my kids because it's important to do that.
But
Um,
also, like, you gotta do what you gotta do for you.
yes, yes,
So use wisdom, pray, but to Bree's point, right? Like, there's a lot of faith that comes with stepping
absolutely.
away from a job and not having another job lined up.
And I think sometimes, I will say for me, my credit card bills are a witness. It was not easy, and I am still recovering 2 years into this new job that I love. Um, and so I would not recommend that. I would say learn from my mistake, save money, be prepared, and leave. If you are prepared to leave, whether it is teaching or any other role, have your finances in order, okay? Because you can pray as much as you want, but the bill's gonna come on the devil's time, okay? On Satan's time. But it is it listen, the bills come on Satan's time, baby. But the I think two things I was clear on. First thing that I knew is that education, I still wanted to be in education, but I knew the field that I was looking at, whether I went corporate or stayed in K-12 education, it was still going to be down the avenue of supporting with like the development of people,
Yeah.
through transferring knowledge, right? Teaching them skills and giving them information and things like that. So I wanted my career to be focused on developing people, developing communities. Um, but I also was not learning, and I had not been learning for quite some time. And I think for a lot of people, when you are an educator, learning is important. You want to continue to learn and continue to grow. I think the best educators are students, and honestly, from coaching, I will say some of the worst educators are unwilling to learn. And so when you are no when that's what you do, and it's like part of who you are, and you're not learning, it becomes very difficult and frustrating to stay in a space. And I would say the third thing, and this one is for Black women. When you are working in a space where the people don't look like you, or sometimes they do look like you, and they don't know how to support, uplift, or develop you,
Mhm.
when people are unaware of the microaggressions that they impose upon you, that is not a mentally or emotionally safe environment. And once you realize that, it is time to move, because there is no place, like if you have communicated and nothing has changed, or you feel like you are being gaslit, or it's
Mhm.
just not a safe environment, there is no amount of money that's going to make that work.
Peace is priceless.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Peace is
priceless.
priceless. And I
Mhm.
totally feel that. And would argue that for anyone watching, I'm sure many of you who have ever worked for someone else can relate. If you've worked in corporate America, you can relate. And I think people often feel like in the education system, especially public education in urban communities, that it might be different, but it's a
Mhm.
different different field of work, but definitely this we're still in America. So
Yes, yes. Look closely at who's in charge. Like the thing with education, it's not treated like other careers,
mhm.
in the sense that like it's not even really treated like a career. Other people become very
Based on the
offended.
pay scale. Based on the pay scale.
Based on the pay scale, yes, but educators, like, any other job, you can put in a 2 weeks notice as a courtesy
Yeah.
and leave, and no one will feel away, and it'll be okay. And in this career, when you are in the classroom, that's not how that works.
Mhm.
And so you really do find yourself giving a lot. And so you have to work in places where you also get. And that's hard to do as Black women, I think, because a lot of times we are not used to asking
Mhm.
or receiving.
Mhm.
Um, and people don't expect to have to give to us.
Yeah.
And so listen, know where you are valued and appreciated. Know what being valued and appreciated looks like. And when it is time for you to leave a place that is not valuing or appreciating who you are, pack your stuff and go, okay? Because sometimes in the midst of the struggle, that's where the Lord will meet you. The
Yeah,
Lord will meet
and
you.
on top of it, like you saying that is just a reminder that sometimes people don't even recognize when they're not being appreciated and valued because they're so deep into the work, the service, being in
Mhm.
service to children and families and neglecting themselves,
Mhm.
right? Like not even giving themselves the attention they need, much less recognizing when others are not giving them the support and attention that they need to thrive in these environments, which also comes in the form of what you named earlier of developing you, right? Because if someone is invested in you and cares about you as not just as an employee but as a person, they will invest time to support and develop you,
And
especially
then
if it is impacting, it will impact the children. So
yeah,
it's a
and
direct impact.
the thing is, people who care for you will learn, adjust, and find ways to support your vision for your life. When you work in a place where a person seems to be building you, but they're building you so that you can fit their vision, so that you can
Ooh,
move forward their agenda, but it has nothing to do with what you're looking to do with your life, just be mindful of that. And I'm not saying avoid it. It's always going to happen, right? That's just how the world works. These
mhm.
education, believe it or not, is a business. You get money for per child, and you get more money when you're more effective. And so anywhere you go, you're going to run into people who are like, I need you to do this job because
Mhm.
this is our end goal. But don't give up on what you're trying to do with your life to meet somebody else's goal. Because they gonna have to sit, they get to sit with their success, and you get to sit in the end with whatever it is you've created for yourself.
Woo, child. So if that hasn't given you all perspective on transitioning and the whys behind why people transition, and there are many more, right? The
Mhm.
what we are what you've discussed is just the perspective from employer employee,
Yeah.
right? We're not even talking about the sometimes disappointment that happens in a classroom
Mhm.
when your classroom is overcrowded, you have children who are not meeting the benchmarks, you're trying to figure out how to support them on top of engaging their families and trying to get the support from parents. Like there's so many different points of like development that is needed in this role. And like if you are successful at all of these things, right, what would you say in terms of development and transferable skills could someone who is in a classroom um, be able to utilize or maximize in another field of work? What would those skills be?
Everything that you do.
Okay.
That's what I tell people. Everything
Most important job
that
in the
you do.
world.
Everything you do. Um, there is a little bit of everything in teaching, right? You have analyzed data to set goals so that you can produce results,
Mhm,
right? You have managed teams of people.
mhm.
They may have been 10-year-old people, but they were people.
If
They
you can manage a classroom of 10-year-olds, okay.
you
Okay.
have okay, you have superintended the completion of a project. Okay. You have done some level of community engagement when you start pulling in those parents and you start getting them involved. You have facility, you've done project management. Okay.
Mhm.
You have, listen, changed the world. And I tell people all the time, like, you can, they'll like when I do resumes and I'm trying to like dig deeper with people, and I'll hear a lot of like, well, I've never done that. And I'm like, yes, you have, girl. Just talk to me real quick. Have you ever, um, did you lead the cheerleading team? Okay, great. There you go. You've led a team of people. You have done things in safety, public safety, if you really want to word it that way, making aligning with government standards of safety, right? We can't give kids cough drops per the government. And by not giving out any cough drops, you have aligned with the government's safety. You have maintained systems of public safety in alignment, okay, with government, state, and local guidelines. I'm trying to tell you, okay? Listen, when when you go on a field trip and the school says, "Here's how much money you have for the trip," okay, and then you have to plan that trip.
Managing a budget.
You have managed budgets, okay, to facilitate and get community engagement, all right, in order to develop, baby, don't get me started. No.
But we are laughing, but we are actually very serious
Yes, you have
because
done all of those things.
I think a lot of times we are stretched and don't even know it's stretched in different ways in different areas to ensure this, not just our success, but the
Mhm.
success of students and the people around us who are either learning from us or supporting us. So, like, all of these tools and skills that you use to either support children, the people around you, like, these are legitimate skills that are
Mhm.
needed in other areas, but we don't see it because we think, very laser focused on what we went to school for, what we're
Yeah.
paying back student loans for, and all of those things. So, very, very accurate. Now, are there particular, I guess, industries in which people you've worked with are pursuing careers in that, like, is there like this typical trajectory educators leave the classroom and they go this way, or post pandemic, what does that look like? Is everybody just like, give me a job anywhere?
The people gonna be mad at me, child. Everybody, everybody wants to leave the classroom and consult. If you go
Okay.
tell somebody that your goal is to be a consultant, they will ignore you because everybody's goal is to be a consultant. Okay. People are sick of hearing that. You are not a consultant. Okay. Just because you had just because you could tell somebody what to do does not mean you are a consultant. Um and and a lot of people just need to sit, because I think, like, when looking for a new job, people look for how to use what I have to get somewhere else, but they don't really care where else. They just can't. They don't know where they want to go. They just know where they don't want to go. And so
Uh,
that's where we get like consulting, right? Like, I'm just going to use the skills I already have and like tell other people what to do. And I think that comes with a lot of humility, because a lot of people want to be, I'm so sorry, a lot of people want to be consultants and have not even successfully done the job that you want to consult others to do. Okay. But I also think, like, come with some clarity. I think my one of my most successful clients um wanted came to me because she was an educator and she was a school leader and she wanted to be an engineer. And when she was able to very clearly articulate to me what she wanted to do, she knew the timeline she wanted to do it in. We were able to she is currently moving. She moved from being a principal last school year, and now she is in engineering school in a whole different part of the country, living an
wow.
amazing life. Um, and that makes it easy because when I'm writing resumes, obviously I do my research to figure out how to get you from where you want to go to where you want to be. But if you are clear on where you want to be, you can then give me feedback like, I really want to discuss this a little more, or I want to highlight this a little more. And I think a lot of people's misconception is that, like, you go to a resume consultant, you give them your old resume, they come back with something beautiful, and then it's perfect, and that's it. And that's not it. We are trying to communicate who you are and what you are capable of, not what you have done. Because a lot of people have this idea that the resume discusses what you've done. The
Mhm.
resume shows somebody what you are capable of doing.
Right.
If you, that takes several drafts. We have to
Mm,
do that in two letter sized sheets of paper.
right. And make you look like the stellar candidate, the only obvious choice
Yes, there is no
amongst
other reason why you
hundreds.
should ever even call someone else, right?
Yeah.
Um, And I think like the other balance, and it's like back to this idea of like humbling yourself, the joke that I was making about consultants, right? But you do really need to remain humble when you are looking for a new role, because a lot of people are applying for roles thinking like, I have all of the qualifications and then some, right? And so I'm going to apply for this job and they're going to interview me. That is not going to happen. If you apply for a job that you have 100% of the requirements, you will not get that job. Likely will not get that job. Some people will. And the reason why is when you are hiring someone, no one wants to hire a person who they can look at the resume and say, yeah, she can do this job. She has done exactly this job, but she's going to get bored in like
Mm.
a year or two, and then she's going to want to go somewhere else, do something else. And this company is not going to be able to help her with that. They're not going to hire you because there's no loyalty. They don't see the loyalty there.
No,
Um,
that is a great point because I've always, and I started my career in education in higher ed, working in career development. And this many, many, many years ago, many moons ago, the world has turned over three, four times since then. And so the path that people take in their pursuit of their career in terms of like job search, internships, and like career development is very different now.
mhm.
Social media has impacted that a lot, and access via Google, LinkedIn, all these platforms that were in their infancy
Yeah.
when I started are now full blown like tools that people use. So when you say like that aspect of like people pursuing roles that they probably can do and will hit the ground running, but they are not the prize candidate for businesses or companies because of that very reason. um, I see that a lot of like millennials and Gen Z like job hop for higher salaries. And
Yeah.
so like how are they able to do that so well if they are like not the prize person when they have all the skills that a company needs?
Um, Never stop applying for jobs.
Woo,
I
baby.
think I think a lot of us find a job and we're like, I like it. I want to sit here for a little bit. That's cute. Keep applying. Keep applying. All constantly apply for jobs. Two things it allows you to do. One, it allows you to stay up to date on what
Mhm.
people are looking for. So when it is time to leave a job, you know you don't have to dust off anything. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I think the other thing is, know people will pay. Know
Mm.
that people will pay. A lot of us, especially people of color, are afraid to ask for the dollars, but the people will pay. And if you know that, you become more comfortable with job hopping because it's not personal. I'm not
Mm.
leaving this job because I don't like you guys. I'm not leaving this job because it didn't serve me. I'm not, no, I can do the exact same thing over here for $30,000 more. That is
Right.
the only reason I'm leaving. And if you have good relationships with like your previous company and you leave in that way, I promise you, the second they get more money, they're gonna be on your line. Hey, they paid you 30. We could pay you 20,000 more than you're paying them. And I see a job that just opened up over here. We shuffled some things around. You want to come back? And that's how you get more money. You actually are not going to hit your salary goal staying at the same job. And it
I
all boils down to like, we are in a cultural shift, and we are constantly in a cultural shift because there are multiple generations in the workplace at a time. However, right now we are in a place where there are more generations in the workplace at one time than ever before. And that is because previously retirement was different. People could buy homes. Homes are more affordable. And so you could set yourself up. But that also is because, you know, um, if you didn't set yourself up, you're still in the workplace. Some
mm.
people are working older than they have ever worked, than like have ever worked, right?
Lord, sweet
It
Lord.
Mm-hmm. And just
Yeah.
expectation is different, right? We have a lot more single people of all ages, right? Divorced or widowed. If you're older, young people are getting married a lot later in life,
Yeah.
and so the need to work and own your own money is at a higher at a higher capacity now than it has ever been, right? And so because of that, we are managing several different uh generational signposts are what they're called, but there are things that define each generation, right? And so when we look at baby boomers, for example, right on retirement age, but a lot of them are still working. Um, they believed in that loyalty. We stay at this job for
Mhm.
whatever, however many years until you get your retirement, you invest, you stay here, and you're loyal to these people.
Yeah.
But if you think about it at that point, like we couldn't build relationships as easily as we could as we can now, right? I
So,
went to a conference last week, had an amazing woman speak to me about literacy, found her on LinkedIn, wrote her a message, told her how much I loved it, and she was so inspirational, and like here's how she helped me clarify my life goals and my purpose. And her response was, great, let me know anything that I can do for you to help you get where you want to go. I had another client that I worked with to do resumes for her company. Never met this woman in person in my life, right? And so there really isn't as much of a need to maintain professional relationships because we can build professional relationships so much more freely now.
yeah. That
Um, I think the other thing is like we have a new generation of workers that are not going anywhere, right? Millennials are not going anywhere. We've been here a while and we're going to stay here a little while longer. And then Gen Z, they're coming in, okay? And they are not going anywhere anytime soon.
yeah.
Not only do we need to change the way that people work, but we need to change the way that we manage the work people do and the expectations that we have on the work people do.
This is a fact.
Yeah, it's if somebody leaves the job, it's not personal.
Right.
And you just have to do whatever you can to put yourself in the place of like it's not personal. No one in life, whether personal or professional, I believe nothing that they do is because of you. Everything that everyone does is because of them.
Hmm.
Storyline in their lives that we may or may not know. And so if they decided to leave, they could have been great and everything could have been going well. And someone could have just called them last night and said, this is a great place.
Right.
Um, and I think the third thing, a lot of millennials, especially young millennials, but I would say all millennials and Gen Zers have crippling anxiety. We have lived through COVID, SARS, 9/11, uh,
Child.
Ebola virus,
The crack epidemic,
the crack epidemic,
AIDS epidemic,
baby, all of these,
Columbine,
Columbine, and then some, Sandy Hook, okay,
the
Uvalde,
O.J. Simpson trial.
every day. O.J. Simpson trial, okay? Black Lives Matter, okay?
Okay.
Every day we wake up and now we're talking about Palestine, every day we wake up and there's something that is that just creates crippling anxiety. A
Yeah.
lot of millennials and a
No
lot
matter where you are in the world.
no. And there's so many polarizing opinions going on in the world, right? Religion, not religion, gay rights, women's rights, so many Trump, okay? So many polarizing opinions. It becomes very intimidating to talk to people about your personal stuff, your
Yeah.
personal thoughts, what you're going through, how you're experiencing it. Um, and so if I don't like my job, it actually takes an amazing amount of courage, counseling, and bravery to go tell the person I work for that this is not working for me.
Yeah.
And so people just leave.
That makes total sense.
People leave.
Total sense. Um, and sticking with like our conversation around educators and this transition out of the classroom, many people, I would say, since 2020 have decided like they do not want any parts of teaching in the classroom, and for varying reasons, right? It's 2020 is a trying time for anyone. And for some, it was just a realization of like, this is not my life's passion. And if life is this short, if life can change in an instance, so drastically, like I actually want to take this time to pursue something else, pursue a different career path, or what I actually really wanted to do at some point in life. But they find it difficult to like draft a resume, create a resume, apply for jobs, get callbacks. So I'm wondering, like, what are some common mistakes that you see or hear from people who are pursuing a different career path, that they are either making in their resume draft or like when they're applying for jobs? Yeah, I feel like no one's the expert on it unless, like you said, you're always applying. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
If you are a seventh grade English teacher, I don't care that you taught seventh grade English unless you want to continue to teach seventh grade English. Those are the only people who care that you taught seventh grade English. And
yeah.
so, what I tell people is like, find other ways to communicate your capabilities, right? And so, it's not about what you've done, it is about what you are capable of doing. You are capable of using a facilitating development, facilitating instruction, right? Using district wide curriculum,
Mm,
right? Company wide curriculum, right? That takes you out of the classroom and puts you
mhm.
at a hospital on the recruitment team,
Yeah.
hiring and training new people. Um, so I really just tell people like we don't want to pigeonhole you, and so
Mm,
let's look for other ways, right? Instead of saying principal, teacher, school, student, let's look for words like personnel,
mm.
individuals. Um, instead
So
of
it's
saying
really about the language.
it's all about the language.
Yeah.
It is all about the language. It's not. It's listen. Let me tell you. My mama used to tell me, "It's not what you say. It's how you say it." Okay. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that reigns true for everything. Also, I think a lot of people miss this. A lot of teachers miss this. Our entire job is to use data to create results. Talk about the data.
That is,
Talk
um,
about the data.
especially in like marketing and mostly marketing, a lot pertaining around like social media and those things, right? If
Mhm.
you are pursuing those jobs, they want to see what you can do and how you can help them grow and expand. And data is the real proof of that.
Mhm. If
Like,
you were able to engage 97% of your students in a lesson on an average on a day-to-day basis on your resume, I would put and let me see, established an engagement of 97% or increased engagement by 60% in 3 weeks, okay? And you want to talk about social media, say you increase viewership, okay? Are the kids not looking at you? Are they not viewing you with their eyes? You have increased viewership, baby. Let's
but
listen.
it's real. We are laughing, but it's you have to take this time to really become creative. Like you can't slap a bunch of tasks on your resume and submit it to anybody's and
Okay? Listen,
you
listen,
get
listen.
lost in a shuffle.
Okay? I listen to this podcast and the guy's always like, single me out. Listen, single me out. Okay? Y'all get creative about that man who took you to Olive Garden. Okay? Y'all get creative with y'all's eyelashes, y'all's nails, y'all's BBLs. Okay? Gentlemen, you get creative with your hairline. Okay? You get creative with all types of stuff. But you want to get creative with your resume. And that's going to make you more money. I'm trying to tell you.
And specifically, like it's in real life. No, honestly.
You get creative on that Hinge profile, baby. Take that same energy and let's get creative on these resumes because Hinge ain't gonna bring you nothing but a headache. All that girl gonna do is make you oven French fries and chicken nuggets, baby. She
And
just gonna
chicken
bring your
Alfredo.
cholesterol up.
Chicken
Okay,
Alfredo.
reinvest that energy in something else.
Uh,
Increase your salary.
oh, increase your salary. Now that's
Increase your
a
salary.
different. I didn't expect to get into this conversation today. I really didn't expect to go here, but I feel like going here right now. So there's this conversation that's happening on social media in various ways, but long story short, there's this concept that women are exceeding men. It's not a concept, it's actually happening. Statistics show
Mhm,
that women are exceeding men, Black women in particular are exceeding Black men in particular in
mhm.
the workplace, in terms of income, salary, etc. And could it be that a large part of the reason why is the lack of creativity in their resumes and their salary negotiations?
Black women have had to get creative with dinner,
Child.
single motherhood, okay? How to make this house a home, okay? How to make this man feel like a king even though he don't do nothing. Let me stop talking about people. No, I think that if you look in history and you look at any oppressed party,
Mhm.
eventually they will be sick of being oppressed and
Right.
they are going to begin to fight, and they just have more fight in them. They got a little bit more dog in them. And
Mm,
so I think for women, we are still, while Black women are surpassing not only Black men but white men and white women
mhm.
in career trajectory and professional growth and salary earnings. um I think that we are also societally the we are the underdog. And I think a lot of Black women are like, listen, we have just come to a place where I'm like, I know you need me, and I know that you know you need me. So let's stop playing, baby. I'm trying to be here with you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm trying to
Okay.
make you my man's, okay? But I can't do that if you keep playing. So run me my check. Run me my check. And if you don't want to, that's okay. I also think like,
Somebody will.
okay, somebody will. But I also think that we live like we talked about before, right? People don't need to maintain professional relationships because we can build professional relationships so freely now, right? I don't need to work here to do this, right? I don't need to work in a school to teach. I have a friend who worked in a school, was a school leader, made more money, worked at a charter school, so made more money than the average teacher, and was pulling in more money with his tutoring company than he was with his full-time job. And he wasn't even tutoring anymore. He had other people doing the work for him. He was orchestrating, okay? He was the maestro. And so I don't have to work here to do this. And I think once people started to realize that, people were like, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what employers have to start to understand. If you want to keep people, not only do you have to invest in them, but also understand they could go anywhere else and do this work.
Especially in education, there is never a lack of need for educators.
No, no. And I think especially in Black communities, just because of like the structure of communities, I think that the Black community, it exists in the larger sense,
Yeah.
right? Black people on social media coming together, laughing about the same thing, sharing our experiences. But if you look at like 1960s, 1970s, if you even just look at like the Black Panther movement, right? We had concentrated groups of Black people in specific places. You
Mm.
worked there, you lived there, you go to church there. And
Yeah.
so everything you do is there, right? Your kids get breakfast in this community. And so we were just we functioned differently. We were very reliant on each other, right? Now we have reliant and responsible for each other, right? The lady who live up the street will gather you just as quickly as your mother will gather you if she sees something you're not supposed to be doing, right? If the lady at church works at your school, it's a problem. But
And
now,
getting on the phone with your mother,
okay,
have her
because they
work
know you.
number and
And they
house
know your
number.
aunt, and they know so, so they know everything about you. Now we
Yeah.
are a lot more separated as a
Mhm.
Black community. We don't exist in that way. And
Yeah.
so there is no responsibility of other people's children on me. I
Mhm.
don't know them. These are not my kids, right? We don't have that. And so Black education, specifically urban education, is going to continue to struggle until we find a way to regain the community aspect.
Mhm.
And it really, I'm not going to go there, but it's not new. It's not new. It's not new. Um, we could take it there. I think, honestly, this began with desegregation. When Black teachers taught in Black schools, it was different. When we start to desegregate everything and we allow like different people become okay with teaching in different schools, and now you have a lot of Black students who've never even had a Black teacher, right? Whereas when my mother was growing up, all her teachers were Black. Like, and that like is, so when we start to desegregate and people start to mix and move, and I'm not saying desegregation was a horrible thing, I don't want anybody to think that, but what happens is we move educators, we move Black people out of the position of educator in their community, right? It functions in the same way that colonization works at the base of it. And so the community starts to break up, and we're no longer teaching our kids, and our kids no longer feel safe and cared for. And
That on and that now coupled with the fact that the way that children learn and understand coursework is very different from what their parents learned in the curriculum they used at the
mhm,
time where they were in the grades that their children are now.
mhm,
So there is this breakdown, not even breakdown, a complete barrier of communication between parent and child in this way they are able to support them academically. And now they are reliant upon these educators.
mhm. But I don't feel responsible for that kid, right? Especially now where we have a world where, like, I'm from Connecticut, moved to New York City, lived there for 5 or 6 years, loved it, had the time of my life, and now I live in Texas. I don't know these kids. I didn't like.
Right.
I don't know your mother. I
And
barely know
and that
you.
and that's like we're talking about educators leaving the classroom, right? When I was in first grade, I knew what teacher I was going to have in fifth grade,
Absolutely.
and there are a lot of people, students, like sadly, I am one of those people that have left the school building. I haven't left education, but I've left the school building, and when kids come to you, like I worked in a school for 8 years. When kids come to you and they're like, "Will you be here next year?" It's kind of like, wow, like kids are
Yeah.
used to people walking away from these classrooms.
To that
And
point, right?
yeah,
Kids are used to people walking away from these classrooms. Kids are used to abandonment.
mm,
When I am used to abandonment, I begin to expect abandonment. So I
mm,
behave in a way that lets you know that I will not allow you to get close to me. I will not allow you to have control of me. I will not allow you to guide me or direct me or
mm,
counsel me, because you're going to abandon me, right?
mm,
Teachers then get frustrated because the kid's not doing what I say, this, that, and the
mm.
third. They have learned that they're going to be abandoned. And so it becomes hard to build relationships for them, this for the child and for the teacher. And then when the adults get frustrated, what do? I don't need this. I can leave.
I
These
think
ain't my kids. So we abandon them and leave them to be someone else's problem. And like, let's keep it a buck. Like, the narrative that like Black children don't come from two family households is not at all as horrible as the media wants to portray it. But we do have a lot of families that are in some way different. I'm not
yeah,
gonna say broken, but they are different, right? And so if my dad left or my mom left, my sister left, everybody's leaving, then I go to school and every year these people are leaving. Every 2 years, somebody I got close to is gone, and I
right,
never talk to them again.
right.
You think I'm a
And
person that
people,
trust these people? You don't care about me.
especially when in most recent years, these people have helped children through the toughest time of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Their adult life. Some of them didn't have the support from their parents at all because their parents were trying to figure out what was
Yeah.
happening in the world. So, like, educators were essential workers thrown into this pandemic with other people's children, supporting them through moments where children were literally afraid to remove a mask from their face.
Yeah.
So, like, it's the impact. I think we'll see this for many, many years
Yeah.
to come.
And it's not just going to be in education. It's going to
Right.
be in the way that our children build relationships.
Mm.
It's going to be in the way that our children um, emote. It's going to look different. And we talk about social emotional learning a lot. Um, but if we're not there to build relationships, then we can give them all the lessons on how to build relationships. But if we don't give them the opportunity, or as teachers like to call them, the at bats to build those relationships, it doesn't work. And so, but yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are leaving, because it does become frustrating. But my encouragement for teachers who are leaving would be this: make sure that you are not leaving because of lack of relationship,
Mm.
because you will continue to leave spaces because of lack of relationship. And that has nothing to do with the students or the administrator, and that has everything to do with you. If you are able to build strong relationships with people, you can still leave a job, but the leaving is going to feel a lot different. And you're going to be able to feel the impact that you had and the impact that that place had on you, and continue to stay connected. For me, I knew that I wanted to grow people, and I wanted to, it wasn't enough for the 100 kids in my room this year to be good at what they do. I need thousands of kids every year to have a teacher like me. And so I moved into this space. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is like relationships. My teachers who have great relationships with their students and pretty good relationships with their teachers or with their leaders, they stay.
Right.
But you have to understand that the relationship is not about the other person. It really is about you. I'm able to build a strong relationship because I expect to build a strong relationship, because I put in the work to build a strong relationship, because I'm kind, because I'm understanding, because I give grace, right? And like always understand, like every single person is doing the best in every single moment. And their best may not look the way you want it to look. It may not even look the way that they want it to look. I
I
was
was gonna say,
migraine and I was late, but that's the best I could have gave you today.
right. The best we out here like Mariah. We doing the best with what we got.
With what we got, okay? Listen, you mad I was 15 minutes late, baby. You lucky I showed up. I almost called out. But tomorrow I may do better. So if you give me that grace, then I understand, and I will give you the same. And we have to give our people grace. We have to give our students a lot of grace. They're dealing with a lot that they don't even understand. Listen, I'm 31, going on 32, as Renata likes to say, rapidly approaching 32. And there are things that that I still don't understand from when I was like 6 years old,
Right.
you know? And now that I'm like learning it and learning more about my family and their experiences, I'm like, oh, that's why I do that.
Right.
Okay, I get that. Kids just can't articulate that yet. And so they really do need to be loved on. But if you're going to leave education because that's what's right for you, do whatever you can to make the rest of this year memorable for kids. They
Because
won't be mad if they remember it.
it has a tremendous impact. Many of us remember people and or moments from elementary, middle school, high school that really changed our lives or had
Absolutely.
a tremendous impact on what we chose to do with our lives because
Absolutely.
they're cultivating our characters and building us up in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm totally aligned. Well, I know I'm clear that even if someone watched this episode and decided that they wanted to stay or leave in education, they will want to speak with you more.
Come, baby, call
Because
me. I will do your resume for a price. Call me.
So
I
tell
can't work
people.
for free because the price of eggs went up.
Is that Luna? Hi, Luna.
That is. She's ridiculous. Yeah. But
Um,
because I have a dog, I can't do your resume for free. I gotta charge you a fee.
yeah. And also like not just do your resume, but really present you to the world
Mm-hmm.
in a way that makes you marketable in the fields that you desire. So, Bree, I'm so grateful that you decided to share your expertise with us today, your knowledge, your heart, and understanding of where we are as a world and as essential workers in the field of education. I'm so grateful for you. But tell everyone where they can find you and more about resume writing and what your offers are.
Absolutely. Resumes. You can find me on Instagram, royally_Bree, Bree. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find me, Brianna James, on LinkedIn. Instagram is probably the easiest way to find me. Email me, brijames91@gmail.com. We can talk about your resume and what you're looking for. I don't just want to change your resume. I'm trying to change your life. I'm trying to change the way you look at yourself. I'm trying to change the way you get paid. I'm trying to change the way you live. So listen, let's do this work together. I do charge lower than the market value, the average market value for resumes. And so I will give you a new resume design and write you a completely new resume, as well as provide you with interview questions that are specifically tailored to the career field that you're looking to be in for the lovely, friendly price of $400.
Which is which
Well, well below market value.
listen, you all, like, and we probably, this conversation will probably need to evolve and touch on other points because where we are in the world, apparently we're in, I don't know, we're entering into war. We need a new president.
Listen,
Like,
listen.
I don't, I don't know what's happening, but I know AI is taking a lot of jobs away.
It's not your friend,
Um,
people. I'm not a
yeah,
conspiracy theorist. Not your friend.
a lot of people are trying to figure out what their life looks like. As I said, as we transition into a new year, and the cost of life just keeps going up between food, clothing, rent, bills, credit, all the things. So we'll continue to have these conversations. We are always thinking of ways to reinvent ourselves, and um, I'm just glad and grateful to have the support of friends like Bree and others who are really in this work with me, because we are not a group that allows things to happen to us. We are
No.
happening to the world. So I'm excited that you all have made it to this point in the episode. And if you are pleased with what you've seen or heard, remember to like and share with a friend, subscribe, and we'll be back. We'll be back to talk about our vision for our life in 2024.
Yes.
I I know you guys have noticed that I've stayed away from talking about cuffing season. Not talking about cuffing season right now. We have bigger fish to fry. We can
Listen.
cuffing will happen, but we have bigger fish to fry. And so I appreciate you all. I see you vying in my DMs. There, like, relationship things keep coming up in my DMs. I like, y'all want me to talk about these relationships. But I'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a matching pajama drama. I don't know.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know. Bree might be in Bree. You gonna be in matching pajamas?
Oh, baby, I'm gonna be in matching pajamas. Okay, ma'am.
Somebody's gonna be in matching
I'm
pajamas.
gonna match pajamas like sis has never matched
Somebody's
pajamas
gonna be in
before. Okay, let me
matching
explain it to you. He don't even know yet, but he gonna put them on. I was in Halloween matching pajamas. Okay, let me tell you. That
pajamas. We
man gonna
like
be sick of
that.
me. Okay, I'm taking him to a gospel concert with light up tambourines. Okay,
No,
we about to
light up
turn it up.
tambourines. I can't. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh
listen,
my God.
he don't even know what he got himself into. Pray for him.
Oh my goodness. Too funny. Bree, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you come back soon.
I will be
Everyone,
there the second you call me.
thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.